Advanced 7th, Chapter 15, Lesson 3. Part 1. Construct a two-way table. A two-way table shows data from one sample group as it relates to two different categories. The same information from the Venn diagram below. Just a reminder, Venn diagrams. You usually talk about them in ELA, maybe social studies. They talk about comparing and contrasting two different things. So maybe in ELA you read a book, you watch the movie, how are they alike, how are they different? Social studies. Maybe you compare and contrast World War I versus World War II, etc. So the data from the Venn diagram can be shown in a two-way table to the right, where one category is represented by rows and the other one is represented by columns. Very important, write this down. Rows go across left to right, kind of like the x-axis. Columns are up and down, kind of like the y-axis. That must be memorized. Write it down. The two categories in this table are shown by play a sport and on the honor roll. Complete the two-way table using the Venn diagram. Okay, so in here, it looks like that 30, that number on the outside, is kids that neither are on the honor roll or play a sport. The 115 looks like that's kids that are on the honor roll but not included in the sports. 45 is students that play sports but are not included in the honor roll. And that 250, it looks like that are students that are both on the honor roll and in sports. They're doing both of those activities. So pull apart that data and try to fill in our chart. So students that play a sport that are not on the honor roll is 45. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Students 115, they're on the honor roll, but they do not play a sport. All right, so what else can I try to fill in from here? The 30 goes somewhere. It's students that are not on the honor roll and they don't play a sport. They're still included in class. All right, so let's see if we can, how many students total are not on the honor roll? 75. So to get to my total by row, I'm adding the across the x-axis per se. I have students that do not play a sport as 115. So how can I come up with another number here? So again, just kind of go back and forth and try to pull that information out. I found the column total for do not play a sport is 145. Again, this time by adding the column up and down. That 250 were students that are both on the honor roll and play a sport. I wonder if that's a correlation, someone that plays a sport and is on the honor roll. It sounds like that's the biggest part here. So now we need to find some more totals. So let's first do the row total for on the honor roll. 250 plus 115 is 365. Now I'm going to do some column totals. Playing a sport is 295. And now here's the kind of the best one, where the total and the total mix right here, that should be able to be checked twice. If you add the column total and add the row total, they should both be the same number. So 295 and 145 is 440, I think. Check it one more time. I agree with 440. And that's taking data from a Venn diagram and putting it in a two-way table. For the rest of these problems, they're pretty much the same, except for I'm not going to give you a Venn diagram anymore. I'm just going to give you the data, and you need to read it and verbally from English translate it to math. I'm going to let you go ahead and do letter A on your own, and we can skip down and do letter B. It's slightly more difficult on your own. Nope, let's change that. Because B is more difficult, I want you to do that one on your own, and we'll do A together instead. So notice the difference from A to B. A's got titles, MP3 versus no MP3 player, or cell phone versus no cell phone, and totals. So when you do B, those should be your totals. These two should talk about one activity, these two should talk about the other. One is yes, they do it, one is no, they don't. All right, let's do A. Partially filled in. Felipe surveyed students at his school. He found out that 78 students own a cell phone. So that sounds like that's it. That's the end. 78 is the total that own a cell phone. Of that 78, 57 of those own an MP3 player. So that pulls my data, 78 total, but 57 own an MP3 player. So now I can fill in cell phone and MP3 player. So how do I get this middle box? I simply go backwards from the last one, I subtract. So 78 minus 57 is 21. All right. It looks like now I'm ready to add column total, add a column total. So let's do that next. Again, the order doesn't matter as long as you're getting the right answer. So I should have 70, I should have 30. Now let's do some row adding here. I should get 100, and I should get 22, which does add 78 plus 22 is 100, so that looks right as well. So for the rest of these problems, you're not going to have some of the chart filled in like we did for this one. You're going to have it completely blank and just fill it in. But that's how we did the 78 and 57. From there are 13 students that do not own a cell phone but own MP3. Well, here is own MP3 but no cell phone. So we should be pretty easy with this. Again, I'd like you to go ahead and do B on your own. Good luck. So at this point, pause the video, do B, you read through it, you try, you guess, and you check. If you need to, you re-listen to the beginning of this video if you need to. Again, if you have any questions, write them down on your notes. I don't need full sentences, just write down. I didn't understand how this happened here. Circle, underline, write notes to yourself. Good luck. Okay, welcome back. A two-way table can show relative frequencies by rows, or for columns, again, rows go across, columns go up and down, rather than the actual values. By analyzing the relative frequencies of a two-way table, you can determine possible associations between the two variables. Letter A. Hey, here's the same thing we did on the front. It's number of cell phones, and that's why we did it on the front, so you wouldn't use this. Find and interpret the relative frequencies by row. Round to the nearest hundredth. So one more time, if you're confused on rounding to the nearest hundredth, this is going to be difficult. That was a 5th grade skill. Rows go across. Okay, so we're going to look at part to whole here. So 57 is my first number, and the total is 78. So really what I'm looking for is the fraction. What is 57 divided by 78, rounded to the nearest hundredth? And you should get 0.730, so 0.73 is where I will end it. The next one, you should get 21 divided by the row total, 78. You should get 0.269, that 9 rounds the 6 up to 0.267. And let's just check these two decimals as the answer to the nearest hundredth should round to one whole. 0.73 plus 0.27 is one whole. That's perfect. Our total should be 78 divided by 78, which coincidentally is 1.00 to the nearest hundredth. Again, on the state exam, some people lost points for that. Nearest hundredth, I need 2 places there. I am hoping that you can finish letter A on your own. Same thing, for no cell phone, we're going to use 13 divided by 22 because we're using row frequencies. In letter B, you're going to do column frequencies. Notice that I took off the row total here. That's to help give you a hint that columns go down. That's a helpful hint. I can't help you much more than that. Good luck. Please be prepared to ask any questions that you have in class tomorrow. I hope you liked this.